Hello there, happy Sunday. It is Sunday, July the 23rd. Welcome to the 13th episode of the 3 a.m. Knitter podcast. If this is your first time here, a very warm welcome to you. I hope that you enjoy listening along and perhaps doing some knitting while you're tuning in. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. It's such a great honor to have you here with me again. Please, if all of you are called to do so, hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up on the podcast. It helps with the podcast a great deal. I don't know how it helps with the podcast a great deal, but apparently it does. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's jump right into some housekeeping as always. You can find me on Instagram as 3am Knitter. My email address is 3amknitter@gmail.com. Snail mail address is down below in the show notes section. And some big news for you. I am launching a monthly newsletter, and the first newsletter is coming out 1st of August. So this is a monthly newsletter that will hit your email the first of the month, every month. And it will include things like knit-alongs, crochet-alongs, all the alongs. It will include information about upcoming podcasts. It will include information about my designs, my knitwear designs. Calls for test knitters will be included there, and a whole bunch of other stuff too. So there is a link down below for you to drop your email in, and once I have your email address, I will be sending out the newsletter on the first of every month. So if you're interested in that, please get your email put in via the link below, and look forward to August 1st and the first newsletter. I'm really looking forward to launching this because it's going to help kind of give everybody a one-stop shop, if you will, for all the information about the things that are going on, especially the upcoming test knit opportunities, the launching of, or the releasing of the patterns once they have cleared test knit and are ready to go, and some exciting new things that are coming up that I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to know about and to participate in if you are if you desire to do so. So sign up for the newsletter. Okay, I know that, I've been watching the news, and I've been seeing these record-setting heat waves that are happening down in the US and in other parts of the world. And even though I am in northern Nova Scotia, we're still kind of feeling the heat as well. It's been uncommonly hot here, 28, 29, 30 degrees Celsius, which for my American friends is, the mid to late 80s. It's been hot, and we are on the water, so it's we get a lot of humidity. We've had a lot of rain. For example, it rained like crazy yesterday, so there was a hope that would cool the temperatures down. But all it's done today is, even though it's bright and there's no more rain, all it's done is made it feel gross. That kind of sticky humidity. So today, instead of the what I'm wearing part of the podcast, I am bringing to you what I am not wearing. So it's just too hot. So anyway, I dug into the archives for this one. This is a little a winter cowl that I wear usually when I'm walking and stuff. So it's kind of a lacework design. As you can see, I'm going to tell you more about the pattern in just a sec. The screen is showing this a little more blue than it is. This is more of a teal. It's on the green side. Anyway, I've got lots left. So what this pattern is, it's the Claret Cowl by Jennifer Gillis. Let's see. This is an older project. So I knit this in January of 2016. I cast it on January 3rd and finished it up on the 8th. 4.5 millimeter needles, or US size 7. And let's see, so I don't know if this helps you see the design at all, but there's kind of, so it's a very simple lace pattern. It was a really good television knitting pattern because you can learn the pattern very quickly. So let's learn more about the pattern here. It's a free pattern, free Ravelry download. Uses 110 to 120 yards, or 101 to 110 meters on 4.5 millimeter needles. Let's see. There's been 88 projects done, mine being one of them. And if I just look at the different yarns that were used, people have used 8-ply, they've used superwash merino, drops charisma, noro, malabrigo rastita. I used one twisted tree lavish. Now, one twisted tree, I don't know if any of you remember an audio podcast by the Prairie Girls. So this was one of the Prairie Girls hand-dyed yarn company, One Twisted Tree. It's no longer, she's no longer dying, but this is the lavish in the, bear with me, back one more, campfire, smoke, and whiskey colorway. Just trying to see if I can. That's a bit better right there. So you can see there's some lighter sections, some grays. Yeah, it's really a nice soft yarn. So her lavish base was a heavy sport weight. Some would say DK. It's an 8-ply superwash merino, 100% superwash merino. It's very round and has great stitch definition. She's not wrong about that. I'm really kind of disappointed that she's no longer dying, because I really do love her yarn. So you can see in the knitting here, like the stitch definition is great. Sorry, I got a little bit of a roll. I'm not quite at the point yet where I'm pulling out all of my winter knits and giving them a little refresh before winter comes. I don't even want to say winter yet. So this was a really quick knit, really easy to use up some of your, leftovers or that special skein, right? So I've got enough here that I think I could probably, I don't know, get a headband or something like that out of that, right? So that's what I'm not wearing today. I'm not wearing the Claret or Claret, depending on how you wish to pronounce it, cowl. So again, a free pattern on Ravelry. I'll link below so you can take a look at it. But yeah, if you're looking for something to, a quick knit or even a quick gift idea, right? Try that out. You can certainly pull from stash for it. If you, even if you've got some light fingering, you could hold a double and do it. That's the thing with a cowl, right? It doesn't really matter if you have the exact type of yarn that the pattern calls for. You can make do with what you have in your stash and experiment, right? A cowl is a cowl. Make it a scarf, whatever. So that's what I'm not wearing today. All right, so let's jump into my works in progress. Where do I go first? Over here. So, as you all know, I am in the midst of knitting. Bear with me because this is a paid for pattern. So the Alpine Bloom Tea for the lovely Jody of the Grocery Girls. So you can see the neckline is a nice little decorative kind of lace work. Then you get into this beautiful color work here, and then just the plain body. This pattern shows regular ribbing on the bottom, but it also shows that the sleeves have the same kind of lace detail as the collar. Now, at Jody's request, I'm not doing that lace detail at the bottom. So I've made some good, I'll show you this yarn again. I've made some good progress on this. Oops. Now, bear with me just one moment. I don't want to make sure I don't drop stitches. Okay, so there we go. Of course, I'm not at the end of a row, so so here we go. I'm going to put this down here. You can see this great detail at the top here, a little bit of eyelet, and then this amazing, amazing color work. So I'm not quite halfway through the color work. I think next few rows I'll be about 50% through the color work. But isn't this yarn just amazing? Oh. So there's the colors, and I'll dig in a bit more about this yarn. So the main color is Farmer's Daughter Fiber. There it is there. And this is in the Love Me Like You Used To colorway, right? Isn't that something else? It's so soft. I wish you could feel this. And then the color work yarn is Spin Cycle yarn, dyed in the wool. This is the Ghost Ranch colorway. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I am shocked, to be honest. So here, let me put this down there. So that's how it's knitting up. Oh, it's so fun. Yeah. So I anticipate that I'll have the color work done by the end of tonight. And then I'll be on to the, just the body, excuse me. So just some plain old knitting out of this. Oh, it's so good. So this is the first time, I think I mentioned this last podcast, this is the first time, first of all, that I've done this pattern, and the first time that I've used both of these yarns. So it's been so much fun so far. And I am just, so excited for Jody to get this and to be wearing it, because I wish that I was knitting it for myself. But alas, I am not. So a little bit of info about the yarn for you. Bear with me while I dig this up. Excuse me. So I did talk about this last time. However, yeah, they don't have, I can't find it here. I'll link down below to the website so you can check it out. But oh, the yarn is so gorgeous. I can't even say enough about it. Sorry, it's really, really humid in here, and I need to take a wee drink. Okay, so that's the Alpine Bloom Tea. I'll link to the pattern down below. It is a paid-for pattern, but honestly, it's well worth it, I think. If you're looking for a fun color work tee to make, it's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, so you know it's well written. Cost $9 US or $12.40 Canadian. And it's been knit 400 times so far. So there is endless possibilities, endless color combinations that you can use. So I encourage you to check that out. I will link below to the pattern for you so you can check it out. It's done in fingering weight, so that's what the pattern's written in. Now I'm doing it in DK. That's what the main color is, and the the Ghost Ranch Spin Cycle dyed in the wool is it's a fingering. It feels like a fingering to me. So there is a little bit of work to be done in the pattern or in my gauge in the color work because of the different weights, and but it's not that different, so it's working out well. So I'm looking forward to getting that finished up, and I'll link below to all of the information there. So there's that. Okay, next. My fabulous test knitters are done, if not finished already, most of them almost finished. The test for my new Thunderbolts and Lightning socks. Showed you these last podcast. So kind of a shorter sock. Motif goes, thunderbolts go down the entire top of the sock to the toe. Heel flap and gusset construction. Pardon me, sorry about that. Oh, sorry. So if you search on Instagram, hashtag Thunderbolts and Lightning socks, you can see some of the great test knits that have already been completed. Sorry. So I knit my sample out of Songbird Fibres sock. It's an 80/20, and this is in the charcoal colorway. I'll link to Songbird Fibres below. I've talked about them lots before in previous episodes. Stratford, Ontario, Indie Dyer, amazing colorways. I'll check out her website because she's all about birds. So she's got some fabulous colorways, but even these tonals are amazing. So look at the stitch definition there. It's gorgeous, right? So anyhow, this is going to be released August the 7th, so watch for that. And of course, that will be in the first newsletter. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you will you'll know about that. There's been some great suggestions from the test knitters because the Thunderbolts are made with yarn overs. This is a looser fitting sock. So I'll make sure I put, there'll be notes in the pattern, but if you don't want a loose fitting sock, you might have to go down a size. So, just bear that in mind. Also, it's a short sock, but very easily, I wrote it as a short sock, but very easily made longer, because you'll see when the pattern comes out, the graphs for the Thunderbolts, very, very simple, just to add more repeats if you want a longer sock. So watch for that on August the 7th. I'll post about it on my Instagram, and it will be available on Ravelry for anybody interested. Okay, next. So you remember last episode, or the episode before, I talked to you about my collaboration with Windswept Fibres and Design from Newfoundland and Labrador. So I am using their Best Kind sock, which is 75% superwash blue face Leicester, and 25% nylon for the first design in my Mama Earth collection. That will be coming out I want to say September. I'm going to do my best about the middle of September. So this, oh, geez Louise, I got stuck on my light. There we go. So this scrumptious green is the Pine Clad Hills colorway. Would you just look at that? So that's what I'm using to design this first pattern in the collection, which is going to be a sock pattern. Let me just grab my sock blocker here. So I'm just going to show you the one I have on the needles today, which is still a work in progress. But so these are the budding branch socks. They haven't obviously been blocked because I'm still in the process of knitting them. The budding branch socks. So you can see I did a 1x1 rib, and then the motif is going to come down, heel flap and gusset, because that is my favorite construction, and then a plain foot and a toe that is done and finished off with Kitchener stitch. So this is the first pattern in the collection, the budding branch socks, Windswept fibers and design. So to let you know a little bit about that yarn, let me just get on to, there we go. Yeah, so 100 grams, about 3.88 ounces, or 388 meters, 425 yards. The gauge is 28 to 32 stitches to 10 centimeters or 4 inches on 2.25 to 2.75 I was going to say millimeters. So I will link, of course, to Windswept's website down below. But this is pattern 1. This sock is going to be written up with charts. So once I put the call out for testers, you must be able to read charts. And I am using Magic Loop, so it will be written for Magic Loop. But those of you who are experienced sock knitters won't have any problem at all doing the foot section in DPNs, if you prefer. Now, because the motif is on both sides, it might be more suitable for Magic Loops, Magic Loop technique, but I'll let you guys that are testing it make that decision. Now, I have stitch markers in here only because, you know, there are just some knit stitches on the outside edges of the motif, but I think that this is going to be a beautiful sock pattern. I hope that that you guys will enjoy it. So once the call goes out for test knitters for this pattern, there's going to be an option for everybody. So you can choose to test knit just the current pattern that is going out, or you can sign up to test knit all 3. So the other 2 patterns will be a set of fingerless gloves and then a cowl. And they will all be knit, at least my samples are being knit with Windswept fiber designs. So for the cowl, bear with me. Where am I here? Here we go. So for the cowl, whoops. Sorry, I picked up the wrong one. The cowl will be knit in this amazing color. Isn't that pretty? So that is the Bake Apple Barons. there it is on the website. And again, it is just, so fingering weight. So this cowl is going to be called the Cabbage Rose Cowl. And I will give you a little sneak peek of the design. So if you're interested in test knitting the socks or the Cabbage Rose Cowl, you must be able to read charts. So the Cabbage Rose design is a 39 stitch chart that gives you a little sneak peek. You have to be comfortable with knit two together, slip, slip, knit, yarn overs, how to treat yarn overs on the next row, things like that. You know, slipping, knitting, and then passing a slip stitch over, those kinds of techniques. So, and knitting in the round, of course, because that's how the pattern will be written. So that is the cowl, Cabbage Rose Cowl. And again, I'm knitting it in the Bake Apple Barons colorway from Windswept Fibres and Design. Okay, the third pattern in the collection is the fingerless gloves, and these are called the Hexagon Fern fingerless gloves, and they will be knit in this scrumptious color, Christmas sparkle. This reminds me of gingerbread, right? But look at that, it's got a little bit of bling in it. Ooh, loving it. And there will be, little hints of the green in it as well. Excuse me. Hexagon Fern fingerless gloves. So just to give you a little peek, so a smaller chart, 18 stitch repeat, and again, you need to know how to knit two together, slip, slip, knit, yarn overs, and slip, knit, pass, slip stitch over, so PSSO. I mean, if you can do those things, you should have no problem with this. So that's just a sneak peek of what those are going to look like with my collaboration with Windswept Fibres and Design. So there are the 3 yarns that I'm using from them. And again, so the call for test knitters is going to go out soon. You can choose, there'll be an option to choose just one pattern or all 3. And once I am ready to launch the series, or the collection rather, what's going to happen is if you purchase your 3 yarns for the collection from Windswept, I will be gifting you the collection of patterns for free. So there'll be some very specific instructions that you'll have to follow in order to get your collection of patterns for free. But you can certainly, there's so much beautiful yarn on the Windswept website. I will put a link again down below. I want you to go check it out because Pam's yarn is, oh, so beautiful. Now, you can subscribe to her newsletter as well. Now, in my estimation, you can probably make the whole collection for under 100 Canadian dollars if you buy the yarn from Pam, from Windswept Fibres. Now, that being said, while you're on her website, if you decide to buy more yarn, she does offer free shipping for orders over $200. Now, I don't know if that is in Canada only. You'd have to check that out with her. But anyway, check out her website. Maybe do a little bit of wish list shopping for the upcoming collection. And remember that if you buy your yarns from her, to do the entire collection, I will gift you the pattern collection for free. Okay, all right, next up we have another test knit that is coming up soon, and that is, excuse me, the Sunspot Socks. So again, this is another collaboration that I am doing, this one with Botanical Fibres. Oh, no, no, it's washing out a bit. Let me just see if I can, no. Anyway, this is a beautiful sunny yellow sock weight yarn. Oh, I wish that you could feel this. You know, we've come so far in technology and stuff. Why can't we have like touch? Oh, so good. Anyway, so this is a collaboration that I am doing with Botanical Fibres. This is her 80-20. So it's 80% sensible sock, 80% merino, 20% recycled nylon, 100 grams, 370 meters. Hand dyed, whoops, in Nova Scotia, Canada. Sorry, I'm just reading, with natural products from Nova Scotia, Canada. So, oh, it's so nice. So on her website, you can see her core colors. I think I showed you this last episode. So Happy Yellow, which is what we will be, what I will be knitting with. There it is there. Oh, the picture does not get bigger. So it's a Sunshine Yellow, is made from Osage. I don't know how to say that. It's subtle cheery shades, always brighten my day. Well, it brightens my day too. So this is going to be a sock pattern done in the regular construction that I like. So top down, and there is an idea right there. That's the sunspot. So for those of you interested in test knitting that when the call goes out, again, you need to know how to read charts. It's a 12 stitch repeat plus 3 stitches. So it's got double increases. What else do you need to know? Increase 1, of course, your basic slip, slip, knit 2 together, purling, pass 2, slip stitch over. So nothing too difficult, but it will be a heel flap and gusset construction, and it will be top down. My preference is magic loop, so it will be written for magic loop, again, just like the others. But in this particular pattern, I think that you could very easily modify or change it to DPNs if that's your preference. So watch out for that call for test knits, because it is going to be coming pretty soon, actually. Okay, let's see, what do we got next? So thank you to the lovely, bear with me, let me find my comments on YouTube. So last episode I asked about pattern suggestions for this one skein of Bijou Basin, 75% yak, 25% bamboo that I have. Single skein. You know how you go to these festivals and you buy one skein because you don't have an idea in your head when you buy it. Anyway, so I put the call out for suggestions, and the lovely Britt Downson 8324 suggested that I do a Sophie scarf. And I thought, well, there you go. I might be the last person on the face of the planet who has knit a Sophie scarf, but I thought, hey, that might just be perfect for this beautiful soft yarn. Oh, it's so nice. So you may or may not know the Sophie Scarf pattern by Petite Knit. The pattern is written for DK on 3.5 millimeter needles, or US size 4, 101 to 140 yards, or 92 to 128 meters, which is pretty perfect. This is 180 meters, so I can make it work. It is a paid for pattern, about $6.18 Canadian. It's been made by over 10,000 people. How have I not knit this yet? So for those of you who perhaps don't know what the Sophie Scarf looks like, it is this lovely piece of work. There, see that? It's just a beautiful little accessory. It can be made any length, I'm assuming. I've seen some people do super large ones, some people do smaller ones. Look at that. So I think that that's going to be a perfect project for this beautiful skein, one skein of yarn. It's such a luxury with the yak and the bamboo that and it's a neutral color, so I'll be able to wear it often. So I'm not going to jump on the cast on this quite yet, because I do have to get my samples ready and the patterns written for the Mama Earth collection and for the Sunspot Socks. So I'm going to hold off and get that done first, and then I will cast this on. So I have some sitting outside knitting, or you know, conference call knitting or something like that. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And thank you to all of you for the great suggestions, but I think I'm going to go with the Sophie Scarf. And then I mentioned last episode that I am in the process as well designing a sweater pattern called the Quiet Peace Sweater. And I'm basing it, or I'm using the Gansey knitting style. So this is it's going to be a big project. My goal is to get this out to testers for mid-September, and it's going to be knit in some hefty, sorry, hang on, I just got to find a place to put this book without dropping everything on the floor. So I am going to be testing it in some stash yarn that I have. Some of you may or may not remember a Canadian company, Canadian yarn producer called Philosophers Row. Sorry, there's one more, but it's not in a cake. Ugh. And it's unrolling. All right, let's see if I can do this. Watch. Right, can you see all those colors there? Yeah. So Philosophers Row is a Canadian company that produce these rugged kind of outdoor yarns. They're workhorse yarns that it's 2-ply yarn, and sorry, I'm just reading some notes here. It's made for outdoor or outer layers, right? So it's a hefty and strong. I don't know if you can hear, my next door neighbor decided to start cutting their grass. Sorry about that. So unfortunately, Philosophers Row is no longer in business. However, I was able to source a Canadian supplier who has a almost 100% match substitute for their yarn, and that is Camilla Valley Farm, which is in Ontario. I think it's in the Orangeville area, which is kind of north of Toronto, for those of you who don't know that area. So they have their Canadian collection, which can be used as a skein for skein substitute for those 2-ply patterns found in the book of Fair Isle Sweater Simplified by Anne and Eugene Bourgeois of Philosopher's Wool. Now, Philosopher's Wool is where I learned how to do the two-handed Fair Isle technique, and that is the only way that I will do Fair Isle work. That's how I'm doing the Alpine Bloom Tea, is in the two-handed Fair Isle technique. So, so basically, you can see on the Camilla Valley Farms website, they've kind of matched it up here. So it is 2-ply worsted, 21 stitches to 4 inches or 10 centimeters with 5mm needles, 4-ounce skeins, 112 grams, and 200 yards or 183 meters. And then they have this chart of all of the substitutes. So if I find that I don't have enough of the yarn in my stash, I do have a way to get some more, which is fantastic. But I will be designing this quiet peace sweater as an outdoor sweater. Like I say, the call for testers is going to go out mid-September. Now, this is a bigger project. It is going to, if you don't have, the yarn, the worsted yarn in your stash, it is going to be a bit spendy to acquire the yarn that you're going to need. It's going to be a full sleeve, and it's going to be a longer body. It's going to come down past the hips, just to give you a kind of an idea of the sizing. It's going to be available in 5 sizes. So I'll be looking for test knitters from small to 2XL, and it's a big project. So my goal is to have the call for test knitters out mid-September, and I would like to have the pattern launched by the end of November, mid to end of November. So it's a tight timeline. You have to know how to read charts. You have to know regular, sweater construction would be helpful. This is, I guess what I'm trying to say is this is not a beginner's project. So if you consider yourself from adventurous knitter and beyond, this might be appropriate for you if you are interested in test knitting. So just putting that out there. It's not coming until the middle of September, so just kind of putting a bug in your ear about that. Okay, so my faves right now. Alrighty, I want to talk to you about my LYS, as I always do on almost every single episode of the podcast, Natural Ewe Yarns here in Pictou, Nova Scotia. The link is down below. First of all, so over the summer, they have kind of suspended our knit nights. We meet every other Thursday night. We meet at a local restaurant where we can have a quick bite to eat if we feel like it, or we can have a beverage of our choice. But because everybody's on holidays and things like that in the summer, they put on hiatus, is what I'm trying to say. So, however, a couple Thursdays ago, they put out a call saying, hey, we're gonna go knit by the water. So I went, yeah, of course, I'm in for that. So we did go down to the water, and this is Andrea, who is one of the owners of Natural Ewe Yarns. Andrea and her daughter, Jasmine, are the proprietors of the business. And so this is Andrea sitting right by the waterfront where we sat and we knit and we had some cold drinks, and it was a lovely evening. The breeze coming in off the water was perfect, and we had a great old time. But all that to say, so we are, of course, I've talked about this before, the year of adventurous knitting. So during the summer, we're doing socks, and one of the patterns was, oh, sorry, that's not a very good link. One of the patterns is the fondant sock. It's a free pattern. I should have brought it up on Ravelry for you, but of course I didn't. Let me just see if I can quickly pull it up. So going out of my comfort zone, I selected the fondant socks. It is a pattern by Louise Robert, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's knitted up as a fade, so it's great for those minis, which is kind of what this year of adventurous knitting is. It's using your minis, and then it's got this little motif, mock cable type motif on the side of the foot. It is toe up. I'm not happy. So I have tried 4 or 5 times to cast on. I have YouTubed, I have, you name it, trying to do this toe up cast on. And I've tried the Turkish cast on, and I've tried lots of other things. It's just not for me. I am so frustrated that I've decided to put the fondant socks aside for now, and I will be doing one of the other patterns that was suggested, which is a collection of shorty socks. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. This part of the knit along, so the year of adventurous knitting, it's got 4 knit alongs, so this is the 3rd. So this 3rd one goes all summer. I think, if I remember correctly, on the YouTube update that Jasmine and Andrea did, they said that the summer knit along goes to Labor Day. So I got lots of time. I'm gonna sneak it in, but I've decided to do a couple pairs of shorty socks, which will eat up a lot of the minis that I have. Now, I'm not using the Natural Ewe Yarns minis because I have so many minis. But on that note, they have just, there it is. They have just announced in their newsletter, which if you haven't signed up for it, please go do that now. They have their yearly Merry Maritimes Advent calendar, which is in pre-order right now. And if you sign up for their newsletter, there might be a little discount there for you. On their website, so you can see here, the Merry Maritimes Advent, 10% off and free shipping if you sign up for their newsletter. So let me just give you a wee bit of information about that. Excuse me. Once again, Natural Ewe offers an Advent calendar inspired by East Coast living and beautiful coastlines. The Merry Maritimes Advent calendar is full of natural dyed minis and wonderful extras from local makers and small businesses. Wherever you are this Christmas, you'll be sure to share the joy of the Maritimes with you. From December 1st to the 25th, each day you will receive a 25-gram mini skein of Echo, each approximately 100 meters. In total, you'll receive 2,500 meters, or the equivalent of 6 1/4 full skeins. Echo Sock is a combination of organic merino wool and recycled nylon in fingering weight. By the 25th of December, you'll have 25 surprise colorways, tonals, variegated natural wraps, an optional 100-gram mystery skein, and a handful of handcrafted accessories and taste bud ticklers. So 25 days times 25 grams, so a 25-gram mini skein every day until Christmas Day in fingering weight. You can add on an optional 100-gram skein of Echo Merino, and then there's of course the extra little treaties. Pre-orders close October the 1st. All packages will be shipped or available for pickup early November. Yeah, so if you would like to learn about this wonderful natural dyer, consider this. You know, I mean, it is an investment. That's the bottom line. It is an investment, as advent calendars are. But when you consider the amount of yarn that you're getting, it's a pretty good value. And if you don't want to shell out the cost, which by the way is $2.95 Canadian, all up front, they do offer a 4 interest-free payment option. I just noticed. Excellent. So I will put a link to the advent calendar order page down in the notes. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter for a little bit of a discount. How good is that? Okay, so there was one other thing before I let you go. 2 other things, excuse me, that I wanted to show you. So way back in episode 2 or 3, I don't remember, I showed you this. Do you remember this? This basket of all different colors and weights, but in kind of, you know, the same family of yarns, right? Golds and browns and grays and beiges and a mixture of all of them, and little pops of darker colors. Like look at this guy here. Oh, right. So just some things that I've collected over the years that I've been waiting for the right pattern to come along. And I was emptying out a box of miscellany that I had come across, and I came across this knitting magazine. That's what it's called, knitting magazine. It looks like it's a UK, because it's £5.99 or £5.99 or $17.50 Canadian. And I came across this pattern. Look at that beauty. So you see that it's got some cables, some stripes. It's on the front cover too. And I thought, wouldn't that be perfect for my collection of yarns? So this is called the Cable and Stripes Wrap by Maisie Smith. It's 80 centimeters wide, 31.5 inches by 184 centimeters or 72 inches long. Now, it is done in Debbie Bliss Luxury Donegal Tweed Aran weight, which is 90% wool, 10% Angora, FYI. But it looks to me like, what do we got? 40 grams, 400 grams, 500, 600, 700, 800, 1,000 grams have been used on 4 and 5 millimeter needles. I think I can make it work. What do you think? So there's the back right there, and a kind of a close-up of the cables. I'm going to investigate this, but I am in love. Sorry about the lawnmower. Of course, you know. Anyway, so I think that I have found the pattern for that collection of yarns. So before we do our Knitter's Tarot, I just wanted to read you one of the pages from Stephanie Pearl McPhee's at Knit Zen, Meditations for Women Who Knit Too Much, which, okay, I don't think there's any such thing, but. So she writes here, what difference does it make how much you have What you do not have amounts to much more. Quote by Seneca. The world is full of knitters who are driven to collect yarn by an inner voice that tells them there will never be enough. They have more yarn than they could ever use in a lifetime, even if they quit their job and knit full-time until they died. The world is full of non-knitters who think this is odd. And then she writes, I will remember when challenged by a non-knitter who has concerns about my yarn stash, that no one ever said, hey, Michelangelo, don't you think you're getting carried away with this painting thing? I found that very funny. All right, so let's dig into the Knitter's Oracle before we wrap up for this episode. And today's card is the LYS. The LYS. Look at that, it says, oh balls. Huh. All right, let's see what the Knitter's Oracle says. Excuse me. Sorry about the lawnmower again. All right. The LYS. The local yarn store is often our home away from home, and this card reflects that. The LYS represents home security, a feeling of safety and belonging. Even a literal house, physical place, or group of people with whom we feel at home. That security can feel a little stifling. The LYS can also represent tradition, customs, and the established way of doing things. Not always the easiest things to challenge. And essentially, it's a comfort zone with both the positive and negative connotations of that term. The cards that are paired with the LYS can give you a clue about who, where, or what is providing that zone. The LYS. Yeah, it sure does represent home. And that feeling of belonging, right? Think about the difference between going to a big box store to buy some yarn versus going to an LYS. Think about the welcome that you get when you walk in the door of the LYS. Think about the questions that you get. How did that project go? Do you need help with your project? Think about walking into a big box store because you made a mistake in a pattern and you don't know how to fix it, and asking somebody to help you. Versus walking into your LYS where you bought the yarn and the pattern and saying, look, I made a mistake, can you help me? Of course they're going to sit right down and they're going to give you a hand. There is camaraderie at your LYS, unlike the big box store. There is none, right? It's important that we support our LYS. They're here to help us, they're here to serve us, they're here to give us a place to belong. And so step out and support your LYS if you can. That doesn't always necessarily mean walking in and buying something, because sometimes your budget won't allow that. But you know what you can do, if that's the situation, is jump online and share a link to their shop. Tell a friend, hey, if you want to knit something up, this is where you should go. Ask for, whoever. In my case, ask for Jasmine, ask for Andrea. Do what you can to support your LYS, because they're getting to be few and far between. So it's our job to make sure they stay around. Well, that's it for today, my lovely knitting friends. I hope that you are enjoying your weekend, and I hope that you are knitting on a project that is bringing you joy. Make sure that you do something kind for yourself today, and I will talk to you very soon. Take good care. Bye for now.